is the Ninja Combi. The Ninja Combi all-in-one multi-cooker, in simple terms, is a multi-cooker, oven and air fryer combo that headlines a pretty irresistible perk: complete meals in 15 minutes. It has 2 levels and comes with a Combi Cooker Pan, bake tray, and crisper tray. The cooker has 14 functions all in one, including Combi Crisp, rice/pasta, Sear/Sauté, and more. This is appealing because, for example, you can literally insert pasta on bottom, meat on top, and have dinner ready in less than 20 minutes. No more waiting around the stove. Ninja Combi Multi-Cooker Review, Performance. Test 1. Even though I'm not someone who steams fruit and vegetables regularly, I use the Combi a lot. In fact, I found myself steaming more than I normally would. It won't sound like the Combi is much different from placing a steamer on top of a pan on the stove, but it is. The timer and settings mean that you can set the Combi running, and it will steam until the preset timer is finished. There's no risk of oversteaming or your pan boiling over because the Combi controls it all. The first thing I steamed was an apple. I filled the Combi's tray with some water, and then sat the air fryer basket on top of the water. I scattered the apple pieces across the basket, and switched the mode to steam. The Combi auto sets a timer for 10 minutes, but I moved mine down to 5 minutes. I needed my apple to be on the far side of steamed, because it was going to become a puree in one of the doughs that I was making for the proofing test. As you can see in the picture, this was a great success. In under 5 minutes, my apple was steamed enough that I could puree it with a spoon. Test 2, Proving. If you're a keen baker, you'll know what a godsend a speedy place to prove your bread can be. I made an enriched fruit dough, which, without a pour-over, takes 2 hours to double in size. Mine needed only half an hour, before the buns had nicely puffed up and doubled in size. Here's where the Combi's convenience came into play. I used the baking setting to bake my fruit buns, which took only 18 minutes at 390 degrees. That's speedy. Minutes. They were nicely browned on top and light and fluffy inside, perfectly proved and baked. Test 3, Air Frying. Air fryers have been the talk of the appliance community for the last couple of years. More recently, I've seen them integrated into other kitchen appliances, including pressure cookers and countertop ovens, so I wasn't surprised that the Combi has an air fryer function. The Combi has a useful air fryer basket, which I tested on fries and fish sticks. These are both cooked from frozen, so they're a great test for the heating power of the air fryer. After 14 minutes on the preset, my fries were nicely crisped up. They all looked evenly golden, with a good crunch on the outside and a fluffy texture on the inside. I was surprised that the Combi had achieved these results in just 15 minutes, including preheating, because that's quicker than some of the best air fryers on the market. The fish sticks were the same story. The breaded crumb exterior was nicely crisp and the insides were steaming and warm. As far as air fryers go, this is seriously impressive. Test 4, Roasting. I wanted to test the capacity of the Combi, and a great way to do that is with a roast chicken. I happened to be having a roast dinner on the day that I tested the Combi, so I bought a chicken big enough for my family of 5. The chicken fitted easily onto the Combi tray. I basted it in a mix of herbs and olive oil and sat it on the tray with some vegetables around and underneath it. After just 45 minutes, the chicken was done and ready to eat. The skin was nice and crispy on the outside, but still succulent and tender inside. Hungry households will know that a roast chicken in just 45 minutes is incredible. Test 5, Grilling. I wanted to see how many of my oven's functions this could replace, so I used the Combi for 2 grill tests: cauliflower cheese and grilled vegetables. You can see how my cauliflower cheese ended up in the image above. It was nicely crispy in parts, with lovely brown speckles across the cheese. I got to use the steamer to steam my cauliflower before I added the cheese sauce over the top to grill the dish. It didn't need any more than 4 minutes to get the brown spots, but I peered through the viewing window and added another 2 to the timer, because I wanted some really crispy peaks. When the cauliflower cheese was out of the combi and onto my plate, I was feeling pretty pleased with myself. To test grilled vegetables, I chopped up peppers, carrots, and onion, put them on the air fryer basket, and set the combi to grill. It was hot and ready to go almost instantly, so I put the vegetables in. 6 minutes later, I came back to the combi to find my peppers with lovely brown spots on them and my onions nicely crisped. The vegetables were tender inside with some wonderful texture on the outside. To say it was a success is an understatement. Test 6. I've already mentioned that my fruit buns were a baking success, but I wanted to test a whole cake. I'm a keen baker, so I was eager to see whether cooking in a smaller oven would work with a range of different treats. First, I made a banana cake in a classic sandwich tin. I could have fitted 2 tins in, one on top of the other, but that would have required me to put one under the tray, and I knew they wouldn't bake evenly. My single banana cake was baked and ready to eat in just 15 minutes. I was really impressed with the speed of the combi, and even more grateful for the timer. I put the cake tin in, set the time and temperature, and left the oven to its own devices. I could do work around the house without needing to worry about checking up on the oven, turning it off, and opening the door. The oven did all that for me. Since those tests, I have made a lemon loaf cake, I've also baked chocolate cookies, which took only 8 minutes, and loaves of bread, which followed a similar story. On top of the useful timer and presets, this takes less than a minute to get to the temperature. I think this is why I kept returning to the combi, opting to use it instead of my main oven because it was quicker to get ready, speedy when cooking, and then easy to clean. I'm sure it worked wonders for my utilities too, since I was only heating one small space. Test 7, Toasting. If the combi can toast a bagel, it covers the functions of almost all my countertop appliances. I did a simple test, turning the combi on to the toast setting and put my bagel underneath. It did an impressive job. The top of my bagel was perfectly browned in just over 2 minutes, whilst the steamed side had stayed soft, but warm. Cutting into the bagel, I could see that it was still nice and doughy. Bagels can be tricky to get to the perfect texture, but the combi has it perfectly. Should you buy it? Whether the Ninja Combi will reduce and improve the time you spend cooking depends exclusively on what and how much you make. If you have a big family with varying tastes, and you need to keep prep time down to 5 minutes or less, not even the Instant Pot will get you to dinner faster. But although its functions do generally work, most will require the kind of experimentation, and thus failure, that devices like the combi are ostensibly created to eliminate. And if you don't know much about timing and temperatures to begin with, the conversions aren't going to be things you'll want to sink your teeth into. For most people, a classic multi-cooker, whether an Instant Pot or competitor, or an air fryer is likely a better choice than the Ninja Combi, as they're quicker and easier ways to cook a wider variety of foods. However, if you're super pressed for space or patience due to a bevy of starving, complaining children and a frantic schedule, the combi will get you where you need to be, but not a great deal further.